Since 2015, I started working with a Panasonic Fairycam 35. I did a masterclass in LA, where I met Theo van der Sande. He's a Dutch guy, shot lots of feature films in the States. He's a member of the ASC, and he showed me the Panasonic Fairycam. That's a camera people in the States know. Most of the Netflix series are shot on either a Fairycam or RED. Before Ari came up with the LF. As we all know, it was not 4K, so Ari was out. And I love the camera because it's kind of a documentary kind of camera. You can just put it on your shoulder, let it loose, and it's in balance. And for me, that's most of the time shooting handheld. I just like balance. And there's another camera that I really love, and that's the Alexa Studio, because it still has the butterfly in front. It has the mirror, and just because of I hate rolling shutters because of their movements, and it's always, well, as I'm doing this now, you'll see it. So most of the time I'm shooting with those two cameras. Then again, it's about what's the narrative, right? So what is the film about, and where do we really need it? Is the close-up. I really prefer to have cameras that don't have the rolling shutter. Well, of course, as we know, there are lots of lenses in the world, and I haven't used them all. I checked most of them, but still not all of them. There are a few lenses that I really love working with. It's the Cooks. It has a certain feel to it. It's not crisp, it's not sharp. It has a beautiful bokeh, it has a beautiful roll-off. But that same comes with one of my favorite lenses, I think, is the Summilux C by Lights. It's kind of the Master Prime, but softer in a way. It's sharp on the eyes, and whatever needs to be sharp is there. But the roll-off of the Summilux is, I think, phenomenal. I used, of course, all of them. I used the Cooke anamorphics recently on a documentary. It's a documentary called Rude Awakening. It's not finished yet. It will come out somewhere later this year, might be next year even. We don't know, because we have 10 or 8 more shooting days to go. It's a documentary about self-awareness, self-reflection. And I met the director in a club. It's a strange story, but I met him there. We had a kind of click. We had a chat about where films should go to, where it comes from and where it should go to. And we drank way too much. And after a while I said, maybe I need your phone number, I'll call you tomorrow. Let's finish this conversation because it's too beautiful. And he said, well, I'm away, I'm going to the States for a documentary, etc. Then he said he fired the other cinematographer, and he wanted to see if I can come along on the documentary. And I asked him what it's about, and he said the documentary was about self-reflection, but they didn't want to have any finger pointing in there. And they also want to have this alienating kind of feel to it. So that's where I came up with the anamorphic, and he immediately said yes and, right? So he was saying yes, and then we can do this and that and such and so. And this is where I got enthusiastic, of course. A director saying yes to an idea is always a plus. So then we came up with the Dutch angle to not telling, to not telling the truth. It's always nice to have this slightly Dutch angled view, and also to tell the audience something is off. And so I think 20% of the documentary is slightly off. Coming back to lenses, this is where we got the Cooke's anamorphic in. And later on we tried the Master anamorphics, but we're back to Cooke, and especially now because they're having the new Cooke anamorphics on the full frame. So we will finish this documentary on the full frames anamorphics by Cooke.